votes in favor of death. I proved this in Myanmar, everybody. My God. Chris Sky's here, everybody, from Montreal. Chris, great to see you. Thanks for being here, pal.
Montreal.
What's up, guys? I'm at the airport in Montreal. I only got a few minutes because we're actually boarding our next flight. I didn't have much time, but I got probably like 10 minutes. So we got to talk about what's going on over there. And what Ed just said wasn't exactly accurate. In fact, the UN actually voted for the ceasefire. It was the U.S. that came in with their veto to get rid of the ceasefire. Just like the U.S. has used their veto 52 times since 1970, when the UN has voted to charge Israel with war crimes 52 times since 1970, and the U.S. just comes in with their veto power because the U.S. provides most of the funding for the United Nations, and they can veto. Even if 90 countries all vote to vote Israel in for war crimes, the USA comes in and says, no, and that's it. And then we had Trump, Mr. America First, give the most Israel First speech I've ever heard in my life, basically telling everybody that they're ready to give as much money, as many warm bodies, as many weapons, and as much political support as Israel needs to carry out a genocide in Gaza. And that's exactly what this is. This has been a genocide for the last 70 plus years. And everybody that says Israel is defending themselves, well, you can't call yourself self-defense when you're in a position of leverage, you're in a position of power, and you're the aggressor. And it's no secret that Israel is the one with the military might. They have military, they have air force, they have tanks, they have boats. Well, Palestine has none of that. Israel also has them surrounded with a military blockade where they can cut off food, water, and electricity on a whim. So you cannot be in that position and at the same time claiming self-defense. You are the aggressor, you are the ones with the power, and you are the ones making the rules. As for the attack that happened from Hamas on Israel at their border, first of all, Israel has the #1 watched border in the entire world. The idea that somebody can come and approach the Israeli border without them knowing about it is completely full of shit. So not only did Israel know that Hamas was coming, they allowed it to happen. They encouraged it to happen. They wanted Hamas to kill their own people. They wanted Hamas to kidnap Israelis. So then they would have an excuse to go in and kill all the people in Palestine. And if you talk to any so-called mainstream media pundit or any so-called journalist, you know that they're feeding you lies and propaganda right off the bat, because you won't even hear them use the word Palestine or Palestinians, because that humanizes them. All you're going to hear them say is Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. Whenever Israel attacks a sovereign nation, they never really attacked Palestine. No. See, they were just attacking Hamas, even though they killed all these women and children. No, they were attacking Hamas. When they bomb Lebanon, no, they're not really bombing Lebanon. They're bombing Hezbollah. And when they bomb Syria, they're not really bombing Syria. They're bombing Iranian targets in Syria. Those are the three trigger words that Americans respond to: Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. As soon as you put any one of those trigger words with Israel attacked, now Israel can get away with attacking anybody they want, doing anything they want, because they just have to say, oh, no, we weren't attacking Lebanon. We were attacking terrorists in Lebanon. But the moment Israel gets attacked, the actual terrorists, now God's chosen people have been attacked. So now everybody in the world is supposed to mobilize and back up Israel. Well, it's not happening this time. The whole anti-Semite trick stopped working decades ago. This whole idea that any kind of criticism of Israel makes you anti-American or an anti-Semite is 100% hogwash. This idea that Americans need to protect Israel is pathetic and stupid. Israel is not your friend. You have the #1 supporters of Israel being so-called Judeo-Christians in America. What the hell is a Judeo-Christian? You're either Jewish or you're Christian. But these Judeo-Christians, they'll say a prayer for Israel in the name of Jesus, completely disregarding the fact that Israeli Jews not only don't like Jesus, they are proud of the fact that they killed him, crucified him, and if you ask them, they'll tell you he's boiling in acid or excrement in hell, and he's a false prophet, a false Messiah. But that doesn't stop Judeo-Christians from getting on their knees every day and praising Israel and praising everything that they're doing and saying that God gave them this land. Oh, yes, the book written by them tells them that 3,000 years ago, people like them used to live there. So now that somehow justifies people that have ethnicity from Eastern Europe who just became Jewish by religion now somehow has an ethnic, a bloodline claim to Israel. I'm sorry, but any so-called Israeli that has a blood claim to the Middle East would be darker than me. They wouldn't look like Benjamin Netanyahu, who's as white can be from Eastern Europe. This is all lies. Everything that people have been told about Israel from day one is a lie. Israel never existed. They tried to create it in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration during World War I. Only they never got enough hyperbole around it to get it happen. Then in World War II, after the Holocaust became the excuse to enact the Balfour Declaration, which was actually drafted decades before. So they had already planned to create Israel in Palestine. They had already planned to take over all of Palestine. And they had already planned for what they call Greater Israel. And for those of you that don't know what Greater Israel is, it means they're not just going to stop when they finish genociding and taking over Palestine. Oh, no. Greater Israel means they need to expand their borders into Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt. You know, all the countries that Israel has actually been attacking in the last week while claiming self-defense. None of those countries have attacked Israel. None of those countries have tried to invade Israel. Yet Israel is preemptively, it's the only country in the world that can attack you first and claim self-defense. Imagine I walk up to you in a bar. You gave me a look that I didn't like. So I just walk up to you and I punch you in the face. And then the police come and I claim preemptive self-defense. I had no choice but to punch you in the face first because you were looking at me like you wanted to do something. So I had to act first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pardon? Yes. Yes.
What's your zone?
Pardon?
What's your zone?
I'm one of the last zones. So I'm getting.
You can board now.
Oh,
All right.
guys, I got to go board the plane. I hope I gave you a little insight of what's really going on in Israel.
They just wanted to shut you up, bro. That's what they're like. Oh, board the plane right now. Come on, just please.
I'm telling you, that's what it was. That's what it was. I was getting too many people upset in the lineup. They didn't like hearing what I was saying. Just like how I got kicked out of the States for an anti-Israeli social media post. And we'll talk about that the next time I come on. The police even took the police at the U.S. Customs and Border. They not only asked for my password so they could go through my social media. They went and said, "We need your password to your phone. We need your lawyer's name. We need to know how your lawyer is stored in the phone, and we need to know which app you use to talk to your lawyer." I'm like, that's all privileged information. So why would you need all that information? Like, we need it so we can avoid reading that privileged information. So I went and I put little markers on all my apps. I marked all these messages as unread in the top 5 messages to see which apps they actually went through. The only apps they actually went through was the one where I told them that I had the conversation with my lawyer. So these assholes literally went and tried to read everything that me and my lawyer have talked about the last couple of years, because I don't really delete it. I keep it there for record. So I know for a fact that the U.S. was reading through stuff about my cases in Canada, trying to get information, privileged information from my contact with my lawyer, so then they can provide that information to the Canadian authorities and use it in investigations against me. 100% illegal, and they can go and look at anything they want. Everything I've ever told my lawyer, besides the fact that it's confidential information, it all just proves that I'm innocent anyway, because I've never done anything wrong. So they can look through all the conversations, and all they're going to find is that they never had a case against me for anything in the first place. But guys, I got to run. I'm going to get on this plane. I will see you guys later. Thank you for having me. Love you guys.
Love you
Don't
too,
forget
bro.
to go.
Nice see you.
And don't forget to go to Join Chris Now. It's the new anti-child trafficking website. And we had a whole bunch of people sign up. I got to run. Love you guys.
All right, Chris, take care.
Flight.
Right. The astounding Chris Sky, everybody. Wow. Yeah. So I just got to make the comment here that in Canada, when you say things that people don't like in an airport, security has to come by and have a little bit of a chat with you. And there's nothing worse than that.